Let's dive into some of these properties we toured. Okay, so if you haven't watched our videos of our neighborhood tours, go back and do that before you even finish this. Right now. Press pause and go back. We did 3 home tours in 75206 a couple days ago. A couple days ago, we did it with Ron, so we're going to talk about them, get a little deeper dive into the properties themselves. So
let's jump right into it.
Let's jump in.
All right, first one was Tudor.
Yes.
Beautiful Tudor.
Beautiful Tudor. It's in M Streets, built in 1927, I think.
$795.
Yeah, $795. A little on the pricey side.
It was.
But
it was a decently sized home though, 2,500 square feet, 2.5.
Okay.
So plenty of room from that standpoint. But you know, that style of home is not necessarily one that you and I typically go for, but I would live in that home.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It had a lot of backyard space, which is very important in this day and age. But it was it was well kept and maintained and had a lot of great updates.
Which I think is huge for older homes, how the seller or the current homeowner is upkeeping a home, especially an older home. It just needs a little bit more TLC every now and then.
Absolutely.
But that's huge for resale because there's nothing worse than walking into a 1927 Tudor and it is falling apart.
Yeah, and you have to redo it, gut out the whole thing, and you want to be move-in ready.
Yeah.
And that location is awesome. The M Streets, it's full of classic Tudors, some craftsmen, some, mainly Tudors. But the neighborhood itself is got a very welcoming vibe. It's very family oriented. The yards are actually a good size.
It's always desirable too. I mean,
always desirable. To be that close to the city and downtown, it's a great area.
So it was listed at $795.
Yes.
So if we have a buyer who is okay with that price point, wants to be in that neighborhood, Ron, what's the best way that they can set up and go for it?
Yeah, so $795 is an interesting price point, especially now.
Okay.
Right? So I mentioned briefly that, the conforming loan limits, right? We talked about, so in 2021, the conforming loan limit is $548,250.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But in 2022, it's been announced that it's going to be $625.
Nice, yeah.
So if you think about it, if you have someone that's going to put 20% down, you're almost at that limit, right? Because if you put down, I'll have my notes right here, right? So if you technically put down 21.38%, you are now in that conforming limit, right? With the $795 price point. Right? So, if I were the listing agent, I might have even priced it down to where you actually qualify with 20% down. But, that's just technical. But it's only $11,000 difference, right? So if you have that little bit more, you might be able to qualify for a conforming loan. And the reason why that's important is because, with a lot of these jumbo lenders, they have additional requirements. Right?
Tighter guidelines.
Tighter guidelines.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, there may be a lender that, when you're looking at the jumbo side, I would say on average, the debt to income ratio can't exceed 43%. But if you look at conforming, it could go all the way up to 50. So if you have someone that has a lot of assets, but they also have a lot of debt, that's where you would want to come into that particular range.
Okay.
The rates also might be better on conforming. So I like the fact of having options.
Yeah.
So that's what I noticed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So another plus was when we were in comps, we saw that the sales price was actually much higher than the list price average on a lot of homes.
Yeah, it was on the higher side.
We know what that spells. Bidding wars, and especially in this market,
offers.
that's multiple offers. That's something that our buyers, unfortunately, are privy to now in this market. But I know that can throw off an appraisal, things of that nature. Ron, is there anything that a buyer can be aware of or do in that sense, or what are their options there?
I mean, the first thing is just hire you guys, right? Because you're not gonna make them overpay for something, right? That's the key, right?
That's the key.
And that's why you don't just go to an iBuyer and then just go into this blindly.
Yeah.
You have that research, right? So that's why when we were talking, I'm like, okay, let's look at those comps, and you guys knocked that report out just like that, and like that's really the key. So in looking at that report, you just saw that there was a big difference between what they listed for and what it actually sold for.
Yeah. Awesome.